seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, guys? It's Clutch Senior Essam here, back with another video. And for today's video, we're talking about the Houston Texans. And there's been some recent news around the NFL as of late. And the news has been that Jeudy, Broncos wide receiver, is expected to be traded before the deadline. And I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but I mean, when you look at Jeudy, he's a guy, he's 24, he's been, I don't want to say hindered, but he's suffered a lot of injuries throughout his career so far, and he's only 24, and the amount of injuries that he's had, the amount of games that he's missed, is kind of worrisome, and just on how he's played throughout his career in the NFL at least, I'm not sure if he can become a wide receiver number one. But the point of today's video is if the Houston Texans should make a move for wide receiver Jeudy. And I'm going to talk about cost first. So the cost of Jeudy, I would think it would maybe be like a third-round pick, somewhere around that range. He was the number 15 overall pick in 2020, which is 2 spots higher than CeeDee Lamb, who, in my opinion, has been far better than Jeudy to this point. So he has that first-round draft, that first-round draft grade/status about him. So there's that. But the way he's played throughout his career, I'm just not sure if he really costs for anything more than like a third-round pick. I don't see them getting anything more than that. He's yet to break a 1,000-yard season. He was close last season, actually. He had 972 yards on 67 receptions, 14.5 yards per catch, which is pretty good. I think it's above the league average. He had 6 touchdowns last year. So last year was by far his best year. As of right now, let's see, is he on pace to break that? He has 17 receptions right now, 208 yards, 12.2 yards per catch with 0 touchdowns. So in terms of yards, I don't think he is. I think he's going to be short. If he kept on his pace right now, he would probably finish like about 940, 950 yards for the season. But the point of the video, should the Houston Texans trade for him? I personally don't think so. The only way I think the Texans should make any move for a wide receiver, whether it's at the deadline or at some point this offseason, if it's a clear-cut number one. If it's a guy like Justin Jefferson, who's been rumored to possibly want out, obviously it's nothing concrete. It's probably very unlikely, in my opinion, that he gets moved. The only way I'm making a move if I'm the Texans for a wide receiver is if it's like a Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins type of player. I'm not sure I want to add another wide receiver number 2 to this team. Nico Collins kind of fits that role. I think Nico Collins can very easily be our number 2 wide receiver for the future. He's been having a great year. He's been playing like a wide receiver number 1, but give him a real wide receiver number 1. I think Nico will be even better, excelling against that cornerback number 2 and getting the lesser looks of defenses. But if you add a wide receiver number 1 to the Texans team, that is for Nico Collins. But Jeudy, I don't think he does that. You're just adding another wide receiver number 2. And it's not like he's this dominant guy they can throw the ball up to and be like, oh yeah, he's going to catch this 99% of the time. He's not like an A.J. Brown. He's not a Justin Jefferson. He's not a Mike Williams, Keenan Allen type of player. Or not even Keenan Allen can do that. But just a reference. Jeudy's more of the guy that's going to be like that route runner. Well, yeah, that's a better comparison, I guess. Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen, he is more of a route running wide receiver than anything else. His, I guess, strong suit is, route running, and similar to Jeudy as well. Both their strong suits are route running, but Keenan Allen has put together many different things to acclimate or to help his game, not just be a route runner. It made Keenan Allen be like a top 5 wide receiver at one point. I do think he was a top 5 wide receiver at one point in his career, but obviously age has caught up to him and injuries have caught up to him. But maybe Jeudy can be like that style of player. I don't think he'll ever be as good as Keenan Allen ever was. But maybe if Jeudy can get healthy, play with a better quarterback like C.J. Stroud, then maybe he could be something like that. But for the Texans, I just don't think it's the smart move. I think if I'm the Texans, again, either try to get a wide receiver number 1 via trade or in the offseason if T. Higgins becomes a free agent, or just wait for the 2024 draft and get a guy like Malik Neighbors or one of these other Keon Coleman or whoever is at the top of the wide receiver draft boards come April. And that's the route I would take. Jeudy, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I wouldn't say I would feel depleted or defeated, but I just wouldn't be as excited as I would if we already had a wide receiver number 1. It just doesn't make sense to me to have Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Tank Dell, and then add Jerry Jeudy. I mean, unless they really have high hopes for him, if they really think he can come into the West Coast type of offense and help contribute, be that route runner type of guy, then okay, sure. But if they don't have a strict plan for him, if they don't think he can become a wide receiver number one in the future, or at least have that. I keep saying wide receiver number one, and a lot of y'all are probably going to be like annoyed at that, but it's true. Most elite teams around the NFL, you look at the Chiefs, they don't have a wide receiver, so say, but they have Travis Kelce, who's pretty much the wide receiver number one. You look at pretty much every elite team, every team who's won the Super Bowl as of late, they've had at least a wide receiver number one or a very elite tandem of wide receivers, like the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. That Mike Evans, I think you could say he's a clear-cut number one. But if you don't want to say that, then fine. They have two clear-cut elite number two wide receivers in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And there's two top 10 receivers, probably. And when you have like stuff like that, then I mean, obviously it's gonna help the offense, help the team in general. The Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen and then Stephon Diggs. They made that trade for Diggs, and then Josh Allen like a completely different player. There's many instances of young quarterbacks getting elite wide receivers and then just turning into a different animal. You see Tua Tagovailoa. At first, he looked like they were going to replace him with Deshaun Watson at one point. It looked like they were going to replace him with some other veteran at one point. And then they got him Tyreek Hill, and he starts looking great. And, I mean, there's another example of that. And I think if you give C.J. Stroud, with how good he's already playing with a bunch of, I want to say, wide receiver number twos, maybe even threes, he's been playing great. And then give him a wide receiver number one and see what he does. But, yeah, as far as Jerry Jeudy, I'm not sure. I would be open to it. I think it would cost around a third-round pick, maybe even a fourth. But I just wouldn't be too excited because I feel like it would lower our chances of drafting a guy in the first round, which is my number one option right now as far as wide receiver. But yeah, let me know what y'all guys think down below in the comments. Would y'all be for a Jerry Jeudy move or against it? And if so, why? But it's been Clutch City Entertainment, and hope you guys have a good day. Peace.